He didn't say a word. The room was tense. The other man was louder, angrier, his voice climbing with every sentence. Everyone expected a fight, but this man just looked at him, calmly, steadily, and then smiled, slightly. The other man stopped talking, sat down, and somehow lost. What just happened and how you do it is what this video is about. Welcome back. This channel exists for one reason: to give you the tools the ancient Stoics developed over centuries so you can use them today. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how silence becomes power. Not passive silence, not weakness. A deliberate, weaponized stillness that disarms people who want conflict before they even realize what's happening. We'll cover 3 things. Why your instinct to respond is almost always wrong. What Marcus Aurelius called the pause that separates animal from reason, and the exact moment to use silence so it commands authority instead of reading as weakness. If you've ever walked away from an argument feeling like you lost, even when you were right, tell me in the comments, because this video is for you. Marcus Aurelius was emperor of Rome, the most powerful man on earth. Armies answered to him. Senators feared him, and yet he wrote this, in private, in his journal, words he never meant anyone to see. When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. He expected difficulty. He expected provocation. That wasn't pessimism, it was preparation. Now think about the last time someone provoked you. Maybe it was a colleague who took credit for your work, a family member who pushed too hard, someone online who dismissed everything you said. What did you do? Most of us respond immediately. We defend ourselves, explain, argue, escalate. We match their energy, and without knowing it, we hand them control of the situation. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The moment you respond with heat, you've already lost. Not the argument, the power. The Stoics understood something most people never learn. An argument is not a war of words, it's a war of composure, and the one who breaks first always loses the audience, loses the moral high ground, and usually loses the argument too. Seneca put it plainly. He said the best response to an insult is calm, not because you're weak, but because anger clouds judgment, and a clouded mind cannot win. We've been trained to believe that fighting back loudly equals strength. Silence equals weakness. But the Stoics proved the opposite again and again, and in the next few minutes I'm going to show you how they did it. And more importantly, how you can too. Studies show that in a heated argument, the person who speaks less is perceived as more credible by everyone in the room, every time. Marcus Aurelius called it the space between stimulus and response, that pause, that gap. He considered it the single most important skill a person could develop. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But let's be concrete about what this actually means in practice. When someone says something aggressive, your nervous system fires, your heart rate goes up, your jaw tightens, you feel the pull almost physical to respond, to defend, to correct. That pull is the animal. Marcus knew this. He trained himself daily, deliberately, to pause before acting on it, not forever, just long enough. Here's what the Stoic pause actually looks like in a real confrontation. Someone accuses you of something in a meeting. Everyone looks at you. The instinct is to immediately explain yourself. Instead, you breathe. You look at them calmly. You say nothing for 3, 4, 5 seconds. In those 5 seconds, something remarkable happens. The room shifts. The person who attacked you starts to feel the weight of what they said. The audience, your colleagues, your family, your peers, they're watching your composure, and composure in that moment reads as confidence, as truth, as power. When you finally speak briefly, slowly, without emotion, you have complete authority. Seneca described this as returning to yourself. He wrote that most men scatter their energy outward, into arguments, into reactions, into noise. The wise man returns to himself. He conserves, he waits, and in waiting, he wins. This isn't just philosophy. There's a reason the most respected people in any room tend to be quiet. It's not that they have nothing to say, it's that they've mastered the art of choosing when. And here's the Stoic logic that makes this unbreakable. If someone is provoking you, they want a reaction. Your calm denies them what they came for. Their power dissolves the moment you refuse to accept the dynamic they're trying to create. The Stoic pause is not silence out of defeat. It is silence as a weapon. Precise, chosen, devastating. Think of someone in your life who has this quality, someone who never seems rattled. Drop their initials in the comments. I want to know what that composure looks like in the people around you, and if this is making sense so far, hit like. It genuinely helps this reach more people who need it. Now here's where it gets deeper. Because the Stoic pause isn't just a tactical tool. It reveals something about your character that cannot be faked. Earlier I said the moment you respond with heat, you hand them power. But there's a second layer to this. When you respond with heat, you also reveal the thing inside you that got triggered. And that is information your opponent can use. Seneca called unchecked emotion a confession. When you explode in anger, you've told the room what hurts you, what you're afraid of, what you haven't resolved in yourself. This is why envy is so destructive to the person who carries it. Not because it harms others, but because the moment it leaks out, in a snide comment, in a cutting remark, everyone sees it, and your credibility shrinks. The Stoics believed that every emotional reaction is a window into your internal state. If that state is disordered, your reactions will be too. The goal of Stoic practice is internal order, not suppression, order. There's a critical distinction there. Suppression means you feel the anger but push it down. It builds, it leaks out sideways, it damages you. Internal order means you've done the deeper work, examining why a situation provokes you, what belief it's threatening, whether that belief is even true. Marcus Aurelius did this in writing. Every night he examined his reactions from the day. Not to judge himself, but to understand himself, and through that understanding he became genuinely unshakable, not performing calm, actually calm. That's the version of the Stoic pause most people never reach. The surface version, holding your tongue in a meeting, that's useful. Anyone can learn it in a week. The deeper version, where you genuinely don't need to respond, not because you're holding back, but because the provocation simply doesn't reach you, that takes years. And it requires the daily practice the Stoics built their entire philosophy around. But here's the thing, even the surface version works immediately. Tonight, in your next difficult conversation, you don't have to be Marcus Aurelius to use his tools. You just have to decide in that moment to pause instead of react. Now here's the part most people get completely wrong, and it's the part that if you miss it, makes everything else useless. At the beginning of this video, I showed you a man who said nothing and won. But I didn't tell you the most important part of that story. He didn't win because he stayed silent. He won because of what his silence communicated. There is a silence that is weak, that is afraid, that doesn't know what to say. Everyone in the room can feel it, and it destroys you. And there is a silence that is full, grounded, chosen, a silence that says, I have considered this, I am not threatened by this, I am not moved by this. That is the Stoic silence. And the difference between the two is not what you do with your mouth, it is what you've done with your mind. This is the truth most people will never understand. Silence is only powerful when it comes from a place of genuine internal order, otherwise it's just avoidance wearing a mask. Marcus Aurelius returned again and again to one question in his private journal. Not am I silent or speaking, but am I in control of myself, or is the situation controlling me? That's the real question, in every argument, every confrontation, every moment where someone wants you to break. The Stoics believe that your response to adversity is the truest measure of your character, not what happens to you, but how you meet it. And silence, chosen deliberately from a place of inner stability that is not passivity, that is mastery. The pause Marcus wrote about grows with practice. Every time you choose it, it becomes more available to you. Every time you resist the pull to react, your internal stability deepens, and one day you won't need to consciously pause at all, because the calm will simply be who you are. That is the life the Stoics were building toward, not a performance of peace, but a genuine, unshakable daily practice of it. 3 things to take with you. 1. Your instinct to immediately respond is working against you. The Stoic pause, even 3 seconds, changes the entire dynamic. 2. Silence only has power when it comes from internal order. Practice the self-examination Marcus wrote about, not judgment, just honest observation of your own reactions. 3. This is not a performance. The goal is not to seem calm. The goal through daily practice is to actually become it. Marcus Aurelius put it simply, and I'll leave you with this. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. If this video made you see silence differently, hit like. It takes 2 seconds and it genuinely matters. Subscribe, because I post new Stoicism content every week. And next week's video on why Marcus Aurelius deliberately sought out difficult people, that one might change how you see every hard relationship in your life. And tell me in the comments, which of these 3 points hit you the hardest? I read every single one. 2 related videos are on screen now. I'll see you in the next one.